What if I told you that one of the most powerful tools you will ever have in life is something you already carry inside you? But most people ignore it every single day? Not your phone, not your brain, not even advice from friends or social media. I'm talking about your heart. And no, I don't mean just the organ that pumps blood. I mean that inner voice, that feeling, that deep intuition that quietly tells you what is right for you. Today, we are going to talk about something very important: why you should listen to your heart. Because in a world full of noise, pressure, expectations, and confusion, your heart is often the only voice telling you the truth. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might start seeing your life in a completely different way. Part 1. What does it mean to listen to your heart? When people say, listen to your heart, they are not telling you to ignore logic or become careless. They are talking about something deeper. Listening to your heart means paying attention to your inner feelings, trusting your instincts, recognizing what truly makes you feel alive, understanding what feels right, even when it doesn't look perfect on paper. Sometimes your heart speaks through peace, sometimes through discomfort, sometimes through strong passion or even fear. But the key is this: your heart often knows what your mind is still trying to figure out. Part 2. Why your heart is important. Let's be honest. We live in a world where people are constantly telling you what to do. Study this course. Choose this career. Don't follow your dreams, it's risky. Do what is safe. And while advice can be helpful, it can also confuse you. Because not every advice fits your life. Your heart is important because it connects to your real desires, your true identity, your personal purpose, your emotional truth. When you ignore your heart for too long, something happens. You start living a life that looks fine on the outside but feels empty inside. And that is where many people get stuck. Part 3. Your heart knows you better than anyone else. Think about this. No one has lived your life except you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your teachers. Only you have felt your exact emotions, dreams, fears, and experiences. That is why your heart often reacts before your logic catches up. For example, you meet someone and instantly feel safe or uncomfortable. You enter a place and feel peace or tension. You think about a decision and feel either calm or restless. That's your inner compass working. Your heart is not guessing. It is responding to what it already understands deep inside you. Part 4. When you ignore your heart. Now let's talk about the danger of ignoring your heart. When people ignore their inner voice for too long, they often experience regret, confusion, emotional emptiness, burnout, feeling stuck in life. You might follow a path because it looks good on paper, but deep down, you feel disconnected. For example, someone might study a course just because it is popular, but later realize they hate it. Or someone might stay in a relationship just because others approve of it, even when their heart feels unhappy. Ignoring your heart doesn't always cause immediate problems, but over time, it slowly drains your happiness. Part 5. Your heart speaks through feelings. Your heart doesn't always speak in words. It speaks in feelings like excitement, peace, fear, passion, discomfort, joy, resistance. Let's break it down. Peace. When something feels right, even if it's scary, your heart often gives peace. Discomfort. When something is wrong for you, even if it looks perfect, your heart feels uneasy. Excitement. This is your heart saying, this matters to you. If you learn to understand these signals, your decisions become clearer. Part 6. Heart versus mind. The balance. Now let's be clear. You don't have to choose between your heart and your mind. You need both. Your mind helps you think logically, planning, calculating risks, making practical decisions. Your heart helps you feel direction, purpose, passion. Meaning, imagine this. Your mind is like a map. Your heart is like the destination. If you only use your mind, you may plan a life that looks perfect but feels empty. If you only use your heart, you may follow passion without structure. But when both work together, you make powerful decisions. Part 7. Real life. Examples of listening to your heart. Let's bring this into real life. Many successful people did not start by following logic alone. They followed something deeper first. A musician who felt music in their heart before anyone believed in them. An entrepreneur who saw an idea others called impossible. An artist who could not ignore their creativity even when it was risky. At first, their choices may have looked strange. But later, those choices became their success story because they listened to that inner voice that said, "This is who I am." Part 8. How to start listening to your heart. Now you might be asking, how do I actually listen to my heart? Here are some simple but powerful steps. 1. Spend quiet time with yourself without noise, social media, or distractions. 2. Ask yourself honest questions. Do I really like this? Or am I doing it to please others? 3. Notice your emotional reactions. Your feelings are information, not weakness. 4. Don't rush every decision. Sometimes silence helps your heart speak clearer. 5. Pay attention to what keeps coming back in your mind. Repeated thoughts often point to deeper truth. Part 9. Fear of following your heart. One big reason people don't listen to their heart is fear. Fear of failure, judgment, losing security, making mistakes. But here is something important. Fear does not always mean stop. Sometimes fear means this matters. Many great decisions in life feel scary at first. But if something keeps calling your heart strongly, it is worth paying attention to it. Part 10. When your heart is wrong? Now let's be balanced. Not every strong feeling is right. Sometimes emotions can be influenced by stress, temporary, anger, pressure, confusion. That is why you must still use wisdom. A good rule is this. If your heart feels something strongly, give it time. Observe it. Think about it. Then decide. Listening to your heart is not about rushing. It is about understanding yourself deeply. Part 11. The cost of not listening to your heart. If you ignore your heart for too long, you may start living someone else's life. You may chase goals that don't matter to you, stay in situations that drain you, lose connection with your true self. And one day you might ask, is this really my life? That is why your heart matters. It protects your identity. Part 12. The power of inner peace. One of the biggest signs you're listening to your heart is peace. Not everything will be easy, but deep inside, you feel aligned. Even when life is hard, there is a quiet voice that says, I am where I am supposed to be. That feeling is powerful because peace is often a sign of truth. So let's bring it all together. Listening to your heart does not mean ignoring reality. It means not ignoring yourself. Your heart is your inner guide, your emotional truth, your personal compass, your connection to purpose. In a world full of opinions, trends, and pressure, your heart is what keeps you grounded in who you really are. So before your next big decision, don't just ask, what do others think? Ask yourself, what does my heart say? Because at the end of the day, you are the one living your life. And the best life you can live is the one where your heart and your actions finally agree.